Google's Universal Commerce Protocol has the potential to radically change how we shop online. We'll be able to buy products directly from the search results, from AI mode, and from Gemini conversations as well. Google also announced Business Agent, which is going to let people interact with an AI agent that's trained on your business information right from within search. And in this video, we'll also briefly touch on direct offers, which I think is the start of a whole new ecosystem where we interact with our customers not necessarily with our website, but directly on the surfaces that they search from. In this video, we'll talk about what this means for e-commerce stores. Will your customers purchase from you without ever seeing your website? How will business agents work? And how do we know that our business agent won't hallucinate information about us? I realized that there's a lot to know, so I asked my viewers to share the questions that you have about UCP, and boy, do we have a lot to learn. UCP is a standardized way to turn AI interactions into sales. Just like MCP, Model Context Protocol, lets AI agents use tools, UCP lets AI spin up a user interface, present products to customers, and then execute purchases on their behalf. Here's an example of the Universal Commerce Protocol in action from within an AI mode search. A searcher asks a question about buying a suitcase, and AI mode shows a bunch of options. The searcher clicks on one particular suitcase and then clicks buy, and then without ever having to visit the website, purchases the product using Google Pay. Users can store their credit card information on Google Pay, or they can use PayPal or Stripe, and eventually cryptocurrencies, which I think is going to play a significant role in how we buy things in the future. Now, UCP does not need Google Pay. It can work with Shop Pay, which is Shopify's payment system, and also PayPal and other payment processors as well. But if people are buying things from Google's AI surfaces, it seems to me like Google Pay is going to be what's used the most. What happens next is that Google Pay pings a server on the back end of the merchant's site with a secure tokenized payment credential. There are a couple of different kinds of servers that you can use as a merchant. You can have your own dedicated API endpoint. Google has great documentation on how to set this up. Or if you're using a well-known payment provider like Stripe, like Shopify, then UCP should just be handled for you. And if you're using an e-commerce platform like Magento or WooCommerce or anything else like that, really UCP support should be added soon. It's going to be fairly standard. The other thing you'll need to have as a merchant, if you want people to be able to buy via an AI agent in AI mode or in Gemini, is to have Google Merchant Center set up so that Google has the information they need to surface your inventory. Right now, you need to be a US vendor and you need to have at least 50 products in order to use this. UCP works with the agent-to-agent protocol. This is a protocol that Google created last year, as well as AP2, which is Agent Payments Protocol, and also the Model Context Protocol, which lets agents work with tools. All of this is setting us up for a very interesting world where agents can communicate with each other, buy things from each other, and even eventually negotiate payments with each other and more. I'm going to share more in a moment on how I picture that this is going to be working in a few years from now. It might get kind of crazy. Before I answer your questions on UCP, let's talk about the other thing that Google announced that's going to change how people shop online, and that is business agents. I knew that this was coming. You can now, with just a couple of clicks, have an AI agent represent your business from within Google's search results, and even inside of Gemini as well. Searchers are going to see a chat button that triggers an agent that you can customize with your brand colors and your logo. You can choose what welcome messages or conversation starters users see. This business agent answers based on the information that you have in Merchant Center. So it's pretty important to have that correct. And also information that's taken from your company's website. So if your brand agent starts to say things that are incorrect, the first thing that you need to do is make sure that you have the answers to the questions that your customers are asking readily available on your website. The obvious concern here is whether the AI agent will hallucinate or make up information. I'm advising my clients to wait for now on releasing their business agent until we see how it's going. Google says that coming soon, we'll be able to train these agents with things like our brand guidelines, our services, maybe size guides to improve their answers. I think that it's going to be pretty important to do this. It sounds to me like we will be able to see the conversations that people are having. And if we notice the replies are not what we want, then we'll be able to give the brand agent examples on how to respond. I think of it kind of like working with a new employee who's representing your business to the public. I think this widens our silly discussions on whether we're SEOs or GEOs or whatever. This is a whole new discipline, learning how to use AI to effectively communicate about our brands and with our customers. I still think it's in the same department as SEO, but it's a bunch of new skills that we really need to learn with really no one to teach us. There's a lot of opportunity here, given that every business online will need help in this area. I think that right now it's e-commerce that has business agents, but soon pretty much every business will have agents that people can interact with from the search results. You can claim your business agent in Merchant Center, go to Marketing and Business Agent, and you might see this button to claim now. I only see it in some of my clients' accounts, so you might not have it yet. You can customize this agent here, and you can also add information to help the agent know when to hand off a conversation to customer support, and if somebody wants to reach your team rather than talking to AI. And soon, Google's going to give us information on these conversations, including performance insights and the ability to check out agentically. I think it's going to be super helpful if we can see these conversations and maybe summaries of the overall conversations, so we can understand more about the questions that our customers have. I'm picturing a scenario where my custom agents will communicate with my UCP agents, and they'll learn more about my customers and the needs that they have, the frustrations they have, and then they'll probably work with other agents that I've created to figure out where my business needs improving. The way that we optimize our business is going to expand far beyond SEO. And the final thing Google announced in this vein is direct offers. This is a Google Ads pilot that will let you offer specific discounts directly in AI mode. We're finally seeing AI mode monetization, which means that Google can expand it further without losing money. Here's the example query that Google gives. I'm looking for a modern, stylish rug for a high-traffic dining room. I host a lot of dinner parties, and so I want something that's easy to clean. The user clicks on an offer and sees the option to get a code for 20% off. Now, Google will not show this offer to everyone. They say that they're going to use AI to determine when an offer is relevant to display, which is super interesting. They're going to focus on discounts first, and then eventually they're going to allow us to offer other things like bundles or maybe free shipping. I think it's not a coincidence that Google also announced this week something that they call personal intelligence. They go as far as saying that personal intelligence is a step towards AI being helpful in our daily lives, but more importantly, a significant step towards AGI, artificial general intelligence, an AI system that can do any of the cognitive tasks that humans can. I think that personalization will play a huge role in determining which offers are shown to which people. It's as important as ever to maintain relationships with our customers. We want our newsletters to be in their inbox. We want them watching our YouTube videos. We have some really interesting times ahead when it comes to marketing. Okay, let's get into your questions. There are some good ones here that I had to research to dig into. I'm going to answer a few here, and then I'm going to share some wild thoughts on how I think UCP is the start of a brand new age, as monumental, actually probably more monumental than the creation of the internet. Nick asked, what are the key advantages for the consumer with UCP? I mean, the seamless shopping experience, buying things directly from search, is a huge time saver. I remember when I first saw the Buy Now button on Amazon, it seemed like a novelty, but now I use it all the time. I think some customers will still want to check out your store's website, but eventually we'll get used to the convenience of buying things without friction. Also, we'll be able to converse with our AI assistants about whatever it is we want to buy and then just send them off to purchase it. We'll be saving all sorts of time and not have to fill out forms and do those time-consuming things that none of us enjoy doing. We'll have Google's AI in our glasses. We'll also have AI in our Google Homes. So pretty soon, if I need to buy something, I can just yell out and say, hey, Google, buy this thing for me. No website needed. The second part of this question is the most interesting, though. What are the guardrails to prevent unauthorized purchases? UCP uses something called the Agent Payments Protocol. Google has worked hard to make this safe. I think rather than me explaining it, let me share this clip.
The central innovation here is how these roles communicate. Instead of simple API calls, AP2 uses verifiable credentials, or VCs. Think of them as the tamper-proof, cryptographically signed data payloads your agents will create in exchange. There are 3 primary types. For human-present scenarios, where the user is available to approve the purchase directly, we use a cart mandate. It captures the user's final explicit authorization for a specific cart with products, price, and shipping info. Their approval cryptographically signs that mandate, creating deterministic, non-reputable proof of authorization. Human not present scenarios will be supported in a future version of the protocol. These are like, buy these tickets when they go on sale at midnight. For these, the user assigns an intent mandate. It captures the conditions where an agent is authorized to buy something in the user's absence. These are things like a price limit or a product category. There's also the payment mandate. This is a separate credential for the payment network and banks to get visibility into the transaction. It signals that an AI agent was involved, and whether it's a human present or human not present transaction. Let's walk through a sample human present flow. The user asks a shopping agent to buy a product. The agent interacts with the merchant endpoint to build a cart. The merchant cryptographically signs the cart first. This is a guarantee that they will fulfill that exact order at that price. The shopping agent presents the merchant-signed cart and payment options from the credentials provider to the user. Once the user approves the transaction, their device signs both the cart mandate for the merchant and the payment mandate for the network. Finally, the transaction is executed, and the user just has to wait a few business days to get their item.
I think it's fascinating what's coming. We have so much opportunity to do different things. In my community, the search bar, Dale asked what agents are currently in the wild that use the Universal Commerce Protocol. Before I answer this is probably a good place to briefly tell you about my community. You can go to community.mariehaynes.com and you'll get a feed that's curated by me and other members of the community on anything that's important and happening in search and AI. It's completely free. You can click the join button that you'll see top right here, and you can choose whether you're notified immediately, daily, or not at all for news stories and be on top of everything that's happening in search. If you're serious about developing your skills as AI changes our world, you can join the paid community and you can get my strategies, you can get posts from community members who are sharing what they're doing. And then we also have really awesome weekly meetings where we learn how to do stuff with AI. Plus, I'm now creating a monthly subscriber-only podcast where I share things that I'm not quite ready to share publicly yet. So I'd love to have you join us with this amazing group of AI pioneers. That's community.mariehaynes.com. Back to Dale's question. Who's already using the Universal Commerce Protocol? First, there's Shopify. Shopify sent this letter out to merchants to tell them that their products will be syndicated via AI surfaces. UCP is now on by default for all Shopify merchants. And it's important to know that UCP isn't just for Google. It's a universal protocol, just like HTTP is a universal protocol that standardized how we access websites. UCP will work in Copilot and ChatGPT and elsewhere on the web as well. There are several other merchants that are already on board as well, including Etsy, Wayfair, Best Buy, Visa, American Express, MasterCard, Home Depot, and Walmart. Walmart's freaking me out a little with what they're doing with AI. I'll share a little bit more on this in a moment, but they're doing some pretty wild things with AI agents. I've seen a few people ask, what's the difference between Google's protocol UCP and OpenAI's ACP, Agentic Commerce Protocol? They are similar. ACP lets you do instant checkout from ChatGPT. It does seem to me that it's a universal protocol. I think the idea was for it to be used everywhere, but it really is mostly geared towards OpenAI's products. UCP is more broad as it covers more of the shopping experience, not just in ChatGPT, including discovery in Google's AI surfaces, and it's integrated directly with Google's Merchant Center feeds. So if you're getting a lot of visitors from ChatGPT, it's probably worth setting up ACP, but mostly I would spend my time focusing on Google's protocol. Ben asked if there's any downsides to implementing UCP. Should you jump on it right away or should we wait? I think that with any new technology, there's going to be hiccups. I'm advising my clients to wait before implementing UCP, and especially the brand agent, until we get a sense of how well it's working. I think, though, that within a few months, we should hopefully have a good sense of whether to go ahead. Andrea, who sent me the screenshot of the Shopify email that was sent out, was asking what to do if your platform doesn't have UCP. And I'd say just wait. Given that this is likely to be standard practice soon, it really should roll out to most of the well-known platforms. And if you have your own custom-made e-commerce solution, then as I mentioned before, Google's got detailed instructions on how to create your UCP server. Another question that two of my clients asked me is what happens when your cart generally allows users to add on things like bundles and features? Can you do this? Can people still buy this directly from the search results? Some of this is on Google's upcoming roadmap. There will soon be support for multi-item checkout and complex basket rules as well as upsells, but it's not there just yet. The main concern that most of my clients have really is that we're going to lose control over the customer journey and some of the connection that we have with our customers if they're not engaging with our websites. I think that people will still browse our sites, at least, for the next few years. I mean, when online shopping became a thing, people still kept going to stores. We still see people in malls, but not all people will continue to visit websites like they do today. I also think that the day will come where we think nostalgically about how we used to use our fingers on plastic keys to look at web pages on a screen when we wanted to buy things. In 2026, Google's going to start releasing their AI glasses. Mark Zuckerberg from Meta predicted that one day glasses will be used more than phones or computers. I really can't stop thinking about how these changes will change how we interact with the online world. Imagine that I'm in my garden and I see a weird bug on my plants. I'll simply tap my glasses and ask Gemini what it is. And say Gemini recommends a product to spray on it. I'm going to surf the web? No, I'm not going to surf the web to find information to figure out what product to buy. I'm going to stay in my garden. So I'm going to ask Gemini to buy the best option for me. Gemini will know my preferences, they'll know where I like to buy from, and also that I want to have it delivered fast. Along with the announcement on UCP, Google and Walmart announced that they are expanding coverage for Wing. This is drone delivery. It's only in a few cities right now, but it's expanding. So soon, Gemini will just know what I need. It might ask my permission, or maybe not, and then it's going to order what I need, pay for it, and deliver it either by traditional methods or by drone. And I never had to look at a screen. I never had to go to a website for this. And if we look even further into the future, it's wild to think what will happen when we have Google robots. This week, Google partnered with Boston Dynamics. You guys, Atlas robots are going to be our personal assistants. They're going to do things agentically for us in the real world, including learning what we need. And they'll buy those things for us via the Universal Commerce Protocol. If you want to learn more about how companies are using AI agents, including the wild things that Walmart is doing, check out this video here. And if you want to work with me to help get your business ready for these changes, you can find me at mariehaynes.com. I'll be watching the comments, so if you have questions, I'll do my best to find the answers for you. Thanks so much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck with everything.